Okay, I just want to go over what I've been noticing a lot lately, and that is this Luciferian Odinism, or what I like to call Titanic heathenry. And it's basically trying to equate Odin and Lucifer, or Satan and Odin as the same. Basically, any Near Eastern deity is a hidden Indo European deity in disguise. But we're going to dispel that here. I'm going to use this comment to illustrate what I'm getting at. I became a full on snake cult warlock, and I don't get your paranoia anymore. Well, the fact that there is a snake cult warlock out there somewhere in the world should make somebody a little bit paranoid, at least, right? And this whole like paranoia thing, it's just a way to attack someone's stance without actually going over it. You're just paranoid, bro. Okay. Are you paranoid when you lock your house or your car? It's the same thing. Yeah. Vril is literally Kundalini energy. It's from the snake, aka the lightning bolt of the thunder god. Okay. The thunder god fights the snake. We went over this in the Thunder. Thor fights Jormungandr. Zeus fights Typhon. It's pretty much across the board. The Thunder God is at odds with the snake. Beelzebul is the Thunder God. Ishtar is Freya. Ishtar is not Freya. Ishtar is Ishtar or Inanna. I know that there's people out there who want to equate the Semitic pagan deities with the Indo-European Kurgan deities at all costs. And yes, you can draw comparisons between the gods of Hyperborea and Atlantis and see the crossover because they come from the same root people. That's very easy to do and it's interesting. But this perennialism, this that, every god has an equivalent in every other culture is just not the case. The Semitic gods and the Indo European gods are very different in their characteristics, very different in their functions. The worship is different, everything is different. Freya did not have temple prostitution and eunuchs. There was no ziggurat banking temple in the north. They don't want human sacrifice. I mean, human sacrifice happened all over the place. Uh, Typically, it was for criminals in Scandinavia and Germania. Yeah, the Phoenicians ate blank or something. Whenever somebody writes or something after they've stated something, they're trying to downplay it. They're trying to obfuscate. It's pretty obvious. They're just trying to make it out that it's being overplayed. But look what happened to their empire, and think again, did the gods approve? Like, this is the thing, people think that there's just one faction of gods above, and they forget that there's a faction of gods below or in a different dimension. I mean, there's so many overlaps happening. But their empire obviously transitioned into a more mercantile type of operation, and they've had ups and downs, and yeah, they're still around. So I don't know. Obviously, the gods of Hyperborea don't approve, but their own gods approve. Here's where it gets wild. The Goetia is just pagan gods, and their appearances was changed by you know who. They aren't deformed hybrids. They look like humans or animals. I've worked with dozens, and they all have been good to me. The Goetia, also known as the Lesser Key of Solomon, are a collection of 72 demonic principalities of the Semitic dimension. And to equate them with Thor and Zeus and Odin, again, it goes back to this pathological perennialism that everything has some sort of relation to each other. You can literally call them the name of Odin or Ukko because they know he is the Allfather, Satya, Satanis, Wotanus. Okay, and this is like the etymological game they like to play because they think that if words sound similar, that automatically means that they are the same entity or thing they're talking about. I notice a lot too with the Asuras and the Aesir, and this comparison has been drawn out that the Asuras being the demonic gods in the Vedic mythology, and the Asuras fight the Devas, and then they will say, well, okay, the Aesir are the Asuras because it sounds similar, right? But it doesn't work, and here's why. Satan isn't Odin. First of all, Odin created the earth, Midgard, out of a giant. So he is essentially the creator of this earth. He creates mankind. He orders mankind into different castes. He gives them consciousness, him and his brother. He gives them the power of the runes. He is said to be the Allfather, the protector of mankind. And so Satan, he in the Christian mythology, he rebels against the creator of this world, and he wants to fight him. And so that would actually make Odin the that would make Odin the demiurge because it's Gnostic as well. So in their world, they're trying to frame. It doesn't make sense because they're trying to frame Odin as a rebellion, but Odin is the creator, and then that would mean there'd have to be someone rebelling against him, which would be Loki. So then Satan and Loki probably have a better cross-referencing point. Um, it doesn't make sense, right? They did it with Lucifer as well. Odin is Lucifer. Again, Lucifer is rebelling against the creation, against the creator of man, against the creator of this earth. Again, you can't exactly one-to-one it either because Odin isn't like omni powerful being. It's more complicated than that in the Norse cosmology. But in terms of the creative mankind in this earth, okay, that would be him. So a rebellion against the creator of this world versus the creator of this world doesn't make sense. Check out the Temple of Zeus and become a literal Gandalf so you can stop being paranoid about archons and remote viewing. All right. I know a lot about the Temple of Zeus because I was into it when it wasn't the temple of Zeus, when it was the joy of Satan. Look, Mr. Ed the Angler, I've been through it all. I mastered all that stuff by the time I was 18, all that joy stuff, and I got the pinnacle result without having to join any clubs, without having to join the Illuminati. I got what I wanted, and there's a price. Don't think that this is just you're frolicking around in the demon realm and everything's just going to work out because your own ego is going to overcome. It's not. Believe me. So I'm not going to become a literal Gandalf so I can stop being paranoid about archons from remote viewing, because when you have experiences with them, you know they're out there. And when you master their arts and get what you want from that, you know it's all real. So it's not being paranoid if you know they're out there. And the remote view thing I was talking about, Darth Vader in a Shungite pod, okay? I thought it was funny. All right? Just get initiated and do the Ouroboros power ritual, and you are safe from harm. Why do you close the portal after each spell? You open the circle and you close the circle. Why do you close the circle? Is it because everything out there is friendly and nice, or do you close it because you have to, otherwise something could get through that you don't want? Mainstream Satanism, like Crowley stuff, is just Jewish subversion. It all goes back to Sanskrit language and Hyperborean. You already know so much. Why do you think I know so much? It's almost like I'm born into it. It's almost like it's a trade. You know, some people's family trade is carpentry. Well, this is my family trade. And so I know it's tempting. I know you're getting results, but there's a cost. And if you think, even when you get your results too, there's going to be, it's going to be like a corrupted version of it. It's going to be like an illusionary version. And you think that's going to like satisfy you, but it's not, because it's like a hack, a cheat code. So yeah, that's what I mean. It's like this need to make Odin Lucifer, and it's very Gnostic in a way. Odin can't be Lucifer because Odin is the creator of this realm, so that would make Odin the demiurge that you're trying to rebel against. Doesn't really work out that way. Maybe Ed will be redeemed. I hope I can be redeemed. So, that's kind of why I talk about this stuff as well. I have to believe in some sort of redemption, right? But yeah, it's all very real. Like everything he's talking about is very real. It's funny how they rebranded to the Temple of Zeus, because again, Satanism isn't in vogue anymore. Christianity doesn't really have that same pull that it used to have, where rebelling against it was cool and edgy. So now you see a lot of these types trying to latch on to heathenry and Hellenism and whatnot. I understand that there's a Roman deity called Lucifer of the morning star, kind of a lesser deity. You can't really compare him to Odin either. Like Lucifer isn't the creator of mankind, and he's not the creator of the world, and it's, you know, this need to cross everything into the same pot. You know, it's kind of like Anglo-Saxon Israelism too, which I want to take a look at as well, and because that's kind of like the same need to cross the Semitic world and the Hyperborean world at all costs in order to cure people's cognitive dissonance. Yeah, I mean archons. I just use archons as like a catch-all term for things like Jotuns or, Asherahs, because these people, they want to. I think they're just so used to being I'm against the current thing or knee-jerk reactionary that they always have to have some sort of like trippy, cool, nuanced take on something. Like, yeah, the Aesir are actually the rebellion against the demiurge, and people look too deeply into it. It's very clear that Odin is like a god of order. He's not like a chaos deity. He's fighting chaos. He structures mankind into castes. He structures the world. He makes time. Right? He makes consciousness for humans. It's very orderly. It's not just like wanton slaughterfest. I know that that's appealing, and that he's not goody two shoes deity by any means. He's a ends justify the means type of guy, right? Which I agree with in that sense. But no, I don't really fall into this. I mean, mainstream Satanism and Crowley stuff has a lot more in common with Goetia, that's for sure, and any of this Luciferian type stuff. Again, with the Luciferianism, you want to become a god. And I understand that appeal too. It would be cool to be a god. Okay. If I was God right now, guys, I would give you guys a way better setup. Okay. I'm talking hot springs. There'd be elf chicks. The gender ratios would be 20-1. I'd let you guys like customize your character before spawning into my realm. Okay, in a lot of ways, yeah, we do kind of get the short end of the stick here. There's a lot of things I'm not happy with, but like, I'm immortal. You're immortal. We're mortals. We're limited. I have to sleep like 8 hours a day. Okay, like we're pretty limited in these bodies. So I don't think this body that I accompany right now and the ego that is inside of it can become a god, and the sense of I as myself will be a god. It's just not going to happen. Could there be some sort of merit incarnation based system where you level up or you level down depending on your accordance with the aura log. Perhaps. I'm not saying that's 100% for certain, but the idea that you, me, any of us in this current incarnation are going to become a god through summoning the lesser Solomon deities is kind of a little bit over the top for me. Like, here's the thing: you guys wouldn't even believe me if even I told you what happened. So there's no point even going there. But believe me, like, it was like the pinnacle of what you're trying to get anyway. So yeah, it was and then I realized, okay, well, yeah, all this stuff is real. But then the cognitive dissonance in my own brain started to come up, like, why am I messing around with these things that I don't feel like I'm in line with? And then I got gifted a set of runes and I started getting into that side of things. I was like, this feels way better. This feels way more aligned with what I am. And then the blood memory got activated. And then I realized, whoa, like, I'm dealing with things that have no connection to myself. And it's probably not a good idea to continue down this path. I'll probably end up joining the freaking free carpenters or something. Which probably could have happened, but we won't go there. Let's just say there's a lot of buffalo hats around my house. So, yeah. I don't like this stuff. I mean, again, and then they go like left-hand path heathenry. Like, why are you in this dichotomy of I'm going to be a bad, sinister, I'm rebelling against. Okay, you're rebelling against who? Odin, the creator of a realm, but you worship him. But like, it doesn't pan out. It doesn't check out. It doesn't make sense. It's like, again, I understand. Like, it would make more sense to be a Lokiist, okay, if you want to go down this type of stuff. That's way more congruent with what you're trying to achieve with this type of deal. They aren't deformed hybrid. Have you looked at them? Have you looked at them? I'm not going to pull them up. They're not deformed hybrids. Are you kidding me? One of them looks like a frog mixed with Putin. Are you kidding me right now? Okay, it's like a three head. Like, there's three heads. One of the heads is a frog. The other head's Putin. I forget what the other head was. I don't care, but they're not deformed. Okay, come on, man. And they're demonic principalities. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But we'll continue the video, and I'll give you some more defense against the dark arts tips and tricks. All right, one of my favorite is the Algae's rune. It is deeply connected with the Norse god Heimdall, the vigilant guardian of Bifrost, the rainbow bridge linking Midgard and Asgard. Heimdall's acute senses and unwavering watchfulness are mirrored in this rune's ability to sense and repel danger. Heimdall is also known as the whitest of the gods and is ever watchful. His horn, Gjallarhorn, warns the gods of approaching danger, much how this rune wards off negative influences. In runic yoga, the raised arms can also symbolize this rune and calls back to the Valkyries calling warriors to Valhalla. That suggests divine protection in battle and a warrior's honorable death. Algae symbolizes both earthly protection and divine guardianship, merging the tangible and intangible. It is also deeply associated with the elk, and like the elk's antlers that protect against predators, algae will protect you against archons and jotuns and whatever word you wish to use. It can also be a channel to bring forth vril and invoke guidance from ancestral spirits. It's basically a beacon that attracts divine favor while repelling harmful influences. I also see it as an association with the world tree, Yggdrasil, and it's also seen in carpentry. You see the algae's rune in carpentry everywhere to give stability to homes. One way to use this rune is with the talisman. It can give you a protective aura and repel negative energies. Silver is good for this material, or yew or ash wood. It's always good to be able to make these things yourself, but sometimes you can't. For home protection, algae is good to be placed in thresholds like doorways or windows. You can even draw it on a window. You don't have to actually have a made physical symbol. You can also visualize it. You can visualize it over yourself when you feel like you need it to create an energetic bubble. Okay. If you want to bubble in hearth out of danger, it's a good way to do so. I like to visualize it like overlapped with Yggdrasil. So I have like a tree and the rune like engulfing me at the same time. I don't know. Maybe you guys can't, some people can't visualize. So having like an actual physical object would be good. But, learning to visualize and developing that visualization muscle is really key. You can make bind runes, I mean, as a base for your bind rune if you're looking for protection, and then the secondary rune will add the more specific element to that power you're looking for, right? So algaes and Soilo is good for both physical and spiritual harm. Algaes and Tiwaz is good for justice and law and empowering you in that field, defending you against lawfare and whatnot. Algaes and Ewaz provides lasting protection, particularly when enduring prolonged challenges, right? Like you're going through grief. You need that endurance aspect of Ewaz. Algaes and Othala shields the family and ancestral home, drawing strength from lineage because it gives you the ancestral element that embodies Othala. Or, I mean, and again, you're not just limited to 2. You can have 4 or 5 runes in your bind rune. The more specific, the better. Algae is more than just a rune of protection. It's a spiritual ally, an ever watchful guardian that helps you maintain both physical safety and spiritual integrity. Its connection to Heimdall emphasizes vigilance, and its connection to the elk highlights both defense and receptiveness. And thank you for stopping by today. We'll go more in depth with more defense tactics if people wish. First part was a bit of a ramble, but I just needed to get that out there. I'd like to really thank all my members, by the way. We got some new members joining, and you guys really motivate me to keep going. So I really appreciate that from you guys. And we'll be back with more Hyperborean knowledge next time.